Shalom. First and foremost, we give our praises, glory, honor, power unto the Most High Yahweh, Bahashem, YAHAWASHI, Bahashem, Rakakodash, Kwam Yashala. Kwam Yashala. Shalom Israel, Shalom to the diaspora, Shalom to the so-called blacks, Latino, and Native Indians scattered throughout the fucking of this earth. This is the brother Frank coming at you from the Twitter of Israel on the Christ YouTube page or channel, as you already know. Right, as you can see, the title of this video is Set Thy House in Order, right? Or Get Your House in Order, right? So we got to keep in mind, every one of us, we got to get our house in order. Because when the Messiah is sending the angel of death, then you're going to see what is we're talking about, right? When the Messiah starts sending down the angel of death, right? Now you're going to realize that wow, this thing that this brother in the corner, on the highway, on the byway, on the chief concord place that we're bringing about, that we're teaching, was fact, man. But as of right now, the vast majority of our people, they don't believe it, right? Only the elect will believe this thing, and only the elect are called for this thing, right? Only the elect. So, brothers and sisters, you got to keep in mind, hearing a lot of things, right? You're hearing a lot of things. Don't get distracted, all right? Don't let them distract you with a wicked woman who died, a wicked woman that pillaged, that stolen, that murdered, and done all type of evil throughout the fucking of this earth. Don't worry about that, right? You got to remember, Amashiach said, he said, let the dead bury the dead. Let the dead deal with them. All right? It's too much going on, brother and sister, for you, my brother or my sister, to be one seduced or distract, right? You got to keep in mind, are you with the Messiah or you with who? Satan. You got to pick one side. You can't be on both sides at the same time. You got to pick one side. So, brother, the main thing that we want everybody to return from this video, this lesson, Lord willing, this will be edifying to many of our brothers. Please, is what? Set your house in order. Get your house in order, right? And we're going to bring out a couple of precepts. If Lord willing, we're going to bring it out with some news if the Most High allow us. So without any further ado, let me go right here. I'm going to start with the book of 2 Kings. Let's go in the book of 2 Kings, chapter 20, right? 2 Kings 20, and I'm going to read from verses 1. I'm going to read from verses 1. In those days was Hezekiah sick unto death, right? So the king Hezekiah, he was sick unto death. And the prophet Isaiah, the son of Amos, came to him and said unto him, thus saith the Lord, who? The Messiah. So Isaiah was not literally speaking of his own word. How can Isaiah know that the king Hezekiah was on the point to die unless the Messiah revealed unto him? Isaiah did not know until the Messiah showed unto him that Hezekiah is going to die. Right? The Messiah revealed his secret unto his servant, right? Not to everyone, not to everybody. The Messiah could have revealed to Hezekiah's wives, or one of his wives, or his son, or his daughter, something, but the Messiah said, no, I'm going to reveal unto the prophet, right? Let's keep on going. He said, thou saith the Lord, set thine house in order. Hold on. You got to keep in mind now, brother might think about it, thinking that Hezekiah was wicked. No, Hezekiah was not wicked. He was doing righteousness right before the face of the Messiah. Right? Hezekiah was doing righteousness. But still the Messiah told him, set your house in order. Now, who is the Messiah referring to when the Messiah telling Hezekiah, set your house in order? The Messiah referring to who? The whole nation of Israel. The Messiah is talking to the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. But the point is, our people don't understand, because when you read this, you think that the Messiah is literally speaking to who? Hezekiah to set his house, literally his house in order. No, the Messiah is speaking general, because he was the king at that time. Hezekiah was the king. He was the one ruling over our forefather back in those days. So he got to make sure that everyone in our nation, or within our nation, or in Jerusalem, or in Samaria, that they must be keeping what? The law, the commandment of the Most High. So that's what you got to keep in mind. So when you read the word of the Most High, you got to be mindful, right? You got to be careful. Don't jump on the conclusion. Don't be quick to swing the sword, thing like that. No. You gotta remember, the Most High literally speaking to the whole nation, but through Hezekiah, because he was the king, right? Let's continue. He said, "For thou shalt die and not live." So the Most High, like, you're gonna die, you won't live, right? Let me go right here. Second Chronicles 32, 32 and 24. Second Chronicles 32. 32 and 24. Okay, my friend is taking so much, man. All right, let's get it. All right. Let's read it. Here's the book of Second Chronicle. Second Chronicle chapter 1, 32 and verses 24. Right? Actually, let me read from 23. Because like I say, brother and sister might be quick to think where maybe the son of Hezekiah, they were not doing righteousness, right? Somebody might think like that. But you got to keep in mind, the Most High is speaking on a high level, man. The Most High is not just addressing the children of the king Hezekiah. The Most High is talking about the whole nation, right? So let's read this. And Hezekiah, like I say, he was righteous. Keep in mind, he was righteous, right? He pleased the Lord, right? Let's read it. This is the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 32, and verses 23. And many brought gifts unto the Lord in Jerusalem. Hey, morning, how are you? Good. He said, and present to Hezekiah, king of Judah, right? You got to keep in mind, Hezekiah, king of Judah, right? So that he was magnified in the sight of all nations from henceforth. So you see, he was magnified, right? Henceforth, you got to keep in mind, right? In those days, Hezekiah was sick to death and prayed unto the Lord, and he spake unto him, and he gave him a son, right? Right? So you got to keep in mind, Hezekiah at the last kind of went off because he got all these people coming out to see him, right? So he was showing some of these things he was not meant to show, right? Hezekiah, he did a beautiful work until I said to the end where he kind of went off. He kind of went off a little bit, right? Because once he started getting all this, the nation were coming at him, things like that, and it's easy to sleep, man. Right? That can happen to any brother. Though the brother being the truth, the brother is on fire, right? The brother knows so many precepts. The brother can be, guess what? We can see sleep easily, right? That's why we got to keep on praying, fasting, calling on the Most High to have mercy upon us, man. That's the main thing, right? So let me go back to 2 King. There's the book of 2 King chapter 20. The 2 King chapter 20 and verses 2. Then he turned his face to the wall and prayed unto the Lord, saying, I beseech thee, O Lord, remember now how I've walked before thee in truth and with a perfect heart, and have done that which is good in thy sight. And Hezekiah wept sore. So you gotta keep in mind, Hezekiah, he's crying when the Most High let him know he's about to die, right? Hezekiah, he cried, he prayed to the Most High, man. He prayed to the Most High, right? Let's continue. And it came to pass, afar, as there was gone out into the middle court, that the word of the Lord came to him, saying, turn again and tell Hezekiah, the captain of my people. You see, that's what I was telling you. Hezekiah, he was the captain of Israel. He was the ruler. The word captain just means the leader, the chief, the ruler, the master over our forefather back in those days. Right? So that's what the Mosaic called him the captain. Right? Let me read it again. He said, turn again and tell Hezekiah, the captain of my people, thou saith the Lord, the God of David, thy father. Right? Because Hezekiah was from the tribe of what? Judah. Right? Keep in mind. I've heard that prayer. I've seen that tears. Behold, I'll hear thee. So the Mosaic told Isaiah to let Hezekiah know that he will hear him. He heard his prayer. Right? And we know the Mosaic hear enough sinner, right? Right? You can't be living in the midst of sin and you pray to the Mosaic and the Mosaic listen to you. The Mosaic listening to you because you're living in the midst of sin. You're breaking the commandment, doing all type of lewdness, right? You're losing your mind. Freaking off, and the list goes on and on and on. Huh? Right? Let's continue. He said, I'll hear thee, and on the third day thou shalt go up unto the house of the Lord. Right? Verse 6. And I will add unto that day 15 years, and I'll deliver thee and this city out of the hand of the king of Assyria. And I'll defend this city for my own sake and for my servant David's sake. Right? And Isaiah said, take a lump of figs. And they took and laid it on the board, and you recovered. So you got to keep in mind, right? So the Mosaic let who know. Isaiah said, talk to Hezekiah, right? The captain of my people, right? The one that rule over my people. Let him know that thou saith the Lord is going to die, but he got to set his house in order, right? So the word set your house in order, it means what? We got to warn our people, right? We got to rebuke our people. We got to rebuke our people, whether they like it, right? We don't deal with your feelings, your emotion, thing like we don't want to deal with that, right? We let you know that self the Most High, right? And how do you do it? You be born again, man. You got to confess your sin unto the Most High through YAHAWASHI Mashiach. You confess your sin to the brother. You let, look, that's what you got to do, right? And you be born again. And you humble yourself, right? You got to humble yourself right before the Most High. You got to please the Most High. How do you please the Most High? Do you please the Most High by doing sacrifice? No. Do you please the Most High by buying flour to everybody? No. You please the Most High by keeping the command, right? That's how you set your house in order, right? You let your brother know. You don't have your brother in your house, right? So when you see your brother in the midst of sin, you let your brother know. Say, bro, you can't do this. You can't do that. Sis, you can't do that according to the Bible. You can't do this. You can't do it. Because if you see them in the midst of sin, you don't tell them, it means you hate them. So primarily, you want your brother to be put to death, or you want your sister to be put to death, but you see them in the midst of sin. Now, if the brother is in the truth already, the brother know what's up. When you try and bring it out to him, you let him know that the brother doesn't believe it. The way you believe it, that's a different story. But at least you want the brother. At least you've won the brother, right? That's the job that we must all do. So we got to set our house in order, right? We got to purge what the sin out of our life. We got to purge it out. When, like I said, man, you can't make it unless you purge yourself, unless your garments are clean. And we ain't talking about this garment. We're talking about your temple, which is your body, right? Is your house. Is the spiritual house of the Most High, man. Your body. So you got to set your house in order. So praise be unto the Most High, man. Right? You got to set your house in order. Right? You got to keep in mind. You got to set your house in order. Your house must be in order, brother and sister. It's important. That's the only way. Because like we see, man, it's about to transpire. It's a lot of that. The power that be the elite, they're setting up. They're setting up. It's going down slowly, but it's about to be overwhelming in the coming days. Are you ready? Are you ready spiritually? Are you ready mentally? Right? I just saw Esau, right? Just right here by the public when I'm teaching it right here. You have a public library, right? So in the public library, they were warning people, they were teaching people to prepare for disaster. Who? The government. You see what I'm saying, brother? They're sending people from library to library, public library, telling the people to be ready, to be prepared for disaster. How do they know this is going to happen? Remember, like a month or 2 months ago in New York, there were war. The alarm, and they were telling people in case of war, a nuclear disaster, whatever happened, how people need to operate. You gotta remember, brother and sister, don't take this thing as well as a where it's not going to happen. You don't know. You are not the Most High. Judgment must come down every minute, every second. As I'm speaking right now, judgment is being done throughout the fucking of this earth. You don't see. There is a lot of going on that you don't see. You can't even see on the mainstream media, because the mainstream media job is to keep you in a docile state, is to keep you blind, is to keep you up very, very low and stupid. That's the whole idea of the mainstream media. They feed you a bunch of what drugs, the mainstream media. The mainstream media is feeding you a strong, deadly, intoxicable wine, right? The philosophy. That's why you got to keep in mind. You got to remember that you got to set your house in order. And we are not merely talking about just your house. Well, you got to set your own house in order. But she's talking about as a nation, nationwide, right? Let's go in the book of Isaiah, man. Let's go over there, right? Isaiah 38, right? We can read about it. Let's go to Isaiah 38, right? This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 38. Let's go straight to the point. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 38, and verses 1. In those days was Hezekiah sick unto death, right? Like I read it, right? In 2 King, right? Chapter 20, and I read it in 2 Chronicle, chapter 32, right? So let's read it again. In those days was Hezekiah sick unto death, and Isaiah the prophet, son of Amos, came unto him and said unto him, Thus saith the Lord, set thy house in order, for thou shalt die and not live. Right, brother? We got to keep in mind, right? We don't want to wait in the last minute, right, to set our house in order. We don't want to do that, right? We don't want to wait in the last minute, brother. Why would you do that, brother? That's tempting the Most High, huh? We got people don't believe in the Most High. They're condemning the Most High. How can you condemn the Most High? Do you know more than the Most High? The reason why we're catching hell, right? The reason why we're suffering, we're going to wherever we're going to, is because of our own doing. The evil thing that we do against the Most High. So you got to look at your own life. What have you done? What kind of life? What kind of life did you live? What was your lifestyle 2 years ago, 3 years ago? What is your lifestyle today? Just think about it, brother and sister. Just think about it, brother and sister. Right? If you don't believe in the Most High, keep in mind, that's literally Satan that is ruling over you. And the reason why that has happened is because the Most High, YAHAWASHI, he knows your mind more than I do. He knows your mind, your heart, more than anyone else on the face of this earth. So he gives you according to your mind. The Most High does not do anything just to do it. No. The Most High give you according to your mind. We got to keep that in mind. It's based on your mind that the Most High give you. If you don't think good of the Most High, you don't think good of the Most High, what would you expect from the Most High? You don't think good of the Most High. Do you think good of the Most High? Do you keep the commandment? Have you repented? Have you come out of what? Christianity, democracy, sorcery, witchcraft, politics? You got to examine your own self. We got to do self-examination, brother and sister. We must do, man. That's the only way you'll be able to. Listen, when you got an issue in your house, let's suppose there is a leak. What do? You go examine where is the leak coming from. So for you to be able to address and fix and take care of the leak, so your house can be set up righteous. It's the same way the Most High is telling us. So you got to keep that in mind. We got to set our house in order. All day, we got to do it. We can't wait in the last minute. Or let's suppose that right now, with all this going on, let's suppose that the people start rising up and all heads start breaking loose. Is that the time you're going to seek the Most High? No. It'll be too late. You can't seek the Most High now that you're in trouble. Now you want to seek the Most High, now you are in trouble. It's when you're in trouble that you want to seek the Most High. No, you got to purge your house. You got to purge your temple, your body. You got to purge your own people, man. That's what we're trying to tell our people. We're trying to tell the so-called Blacks, Latino, and Native Indian. That's the time we're heading toward. Things going to get really, really worse. Maybe you don't believe it right now, but guess what? It's about to get deadly out here. Man. Moses is about to hit the four corners of this earth. We're living in the end time. I know most people don't believe it because Satan is ruling over them. They got demon on their mind. That's why they don't believe it. Demon, Satan literally rule over the vast majority of this earth. Satan rule over them. Satan, that's his job. Because the Most High know who will listen and who won't listen. Huh? You don't want to be caught up. Do you want to get caught up into all this? You don't want to be caught up. Huh? Right? Let me go to Isaiah and bring another one out just to see, show you. Right? All praise be unto the Most High. Right? Watch this. How do we do this thing? Let's read this. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 56 and verses 1. Thou saith the Lord, keep ye judgment. Hold on. Who is the Most High speaking to? The Israelites. Right? Those that claim to be our leaders. Right? The Most High said, keep judgment. Where is judgment found? It's in the Bible. You think there's judgment in the U.S. court? When you go to your court, whether it be in the county court or whatever the Supreme, there's no justice, man. There's no judgment. It's all about business. It's all about weakness, man. The court system in America is totally 100% corrupted, man. It's all about money, business. How much money they're making. How much money the lawyer, the judges, right, the government, the county, the police officer. That's all about, man. It's not about helping anybody. Who did they help, man? It's all about money. And it's all about locking the children of the Most High, the Israelites. It's all about to crash upon their own head, man. The Most High is about to reward America. America is about to receive his reward from the Lord, man, for all the evil they've done against the children of the Most High every day, man. That's why you got to make sure, brother and sister, that you setting your house in order. Get your house in order. Do not postpone it. Do not wait for the last minute. Judgment, seek judgment. It's in the Bible. You want to judge, you got to judge according to the Bible. If you're in a dirty garment, you're sitting in your chair in the court, wherever you're sitting, and you think that you're doing justice, judgment, man, you're fooling your own self, man. You're shooting your own self. That's what you're doing, man. All every one of you out there, you don't know the Most High. Do you judge according to the Bible? You're running your mouth and reciting a bunch of stupidity, nonsense. We don't want to know about those things, man. Right? Righteous judgment. Huh? Let's read it again. Thou saith the Lord, keep ye judgment and do justice. There's no justice in America. What is the justice? Huh? What is justice? After you rob, you pillage, you destroy, you rape, you stolen all type of evil, man, to our forefathers, so-called blacks, Latino, and Native Indian, huh? And you've done against the other nation. Who? Esau, Edom, and Dumian, Bosra, man, the wicked one, the border of weakness, man, the one that is ruling throughout the fucking of this earth, man. Who is ruling? What group of people is ruling the whole world today? Esau, Edom, and Dumian, Bosra, man. The fourth beast, the eagle has landed, right? That's why they're pushing for all this madness and evil. The NOW, the MOTB, right? And the list goes on and on and on. So, brother and sister, we got to keep in mind, man. The Feast of Trumpet is in the corner. The Day of Atonement is in the corner. The Feast of Tabernacle in the corner. So get ready. Get ready. So a lot of you out there are people, we speaking mainly to our people, so-called blacks, Latino, and nature. We know you're so rebellious. Now, your rebellion is going to slay you. You want to be rebellious? You want to harden your heart against the Most High? The Most High will kill you, man. He'll give you over to Satan. You understand? The wet wood is burning. Listen, the wet wood is burning. How about the dry one, man? Just think about it, right? So let's read it. He said, well, and do justice, for my salvation is near to come. Salvation is near to come. That's the time we're in right now, brother and sister. That's the time we're in right now. But our people don't believe it. Our people do not believe it. They just want to continue sinning. They want to continue lying. They want to continue like all type of evil. And when they get caught or something happen to them, honestly, they start crying. They say, oh, why do you happen? Why would God let me do it? Why would God do it? God understand. gotta understand what kind of lifestyle are you living? Are you rehearsing the righteous act? Are you setting up your house in order? Are you warning your brother and your sister about what is about to come down? Don't you see there's so many videos this day on YouTube where they're warning you, they're telling you what is about to go down. You think, well, the Moses literally just come and show you. It's not going to happen that way, buddy. Right? So let's read it. He said, well, for my salvation is near to come, and my righteousness to be revealed. You see that? The righteousness of the Most High is about to be revealed. So what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Why you still lazy? Huh? You got the time to go shopping, right? You got the time to go buy all type of madness. You do all type of freaking out, whatever you want to do. But when it comes to the word of the Most High, applying the law, the commandment of the Most High, then you ain't got no time. And you're gonna eat the fruit of your own error, man. You gotta keep in mind that's written in the book of Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 1, and you read verses 19 all the way down to, like, I'll say 27 or 20, 28. Huh? You're gonna eat the fruit of your own error. Is that what you want? Judgment is drawing nigh, man. Repent and keep the commandments. Set your house in order. Right? Let me go right here. Right? Let's read one of these examples of what the Most High is telling us. Right? He said, blessed is the man that doeth this. The Most High said, blessed is that man or woman. Man or woman that doeth thee. What is the Most High telling us to do? And the Son of Man that lay hold on it, that keepeth the Shabbat from polluting it, and keep his hand from doing any evil. That's what I just said earlier. And guess what? I'm reading it again, the book of Isaiah chapter 56. You got to keep the Shabbat, Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. Now, there's other brother that believe in the different Shabbat, right? Though I keep the lunar Shabbat, right? But I still keep what? The weekly Shabbat, right? Now, there's some Shabbat that we don't even keep, right? Now, a lot of people don't keep, right? The Shabbat of what? Of the year. We don't even keep it, right? I don't know many brothers that are keeping. I don't know. Maybe there's some brothers, some camps where they're able to keep it, but it's kind of hard for us to track it because even the calendar that they're telling us today, the day that they're telling us is not accurate, right? We believe it's not accurate because the power that be, you know what they do, right? So you got to keep the Shabbat. So whether you keeping the lunar Shabbat or the weekly Shabbat or whatsoever Shabbat you keeping, brother, you make sure you keep on doing what you got to do, right? It might be off. The Most High merciful. That's why we have the grace. It might be off, right? It might be off, right? Maybe the weekly Shabbat is off. Maybe it's the lunar Shabbat that, you know, we keep is off. The Most High is graceful and merciful. That's why we have the grace, but not to willingly or literally go out there and then breaking the law, the commandment of the Most High. No, but you do the best every day to keep it. You prove it to the Most High that you're willing to keep it and you want to keep it. All right? So let's really say, well, blessed is the man that doeth this, and the Son of Man that lay hold on it, that keepeth the Shabbat from polluting it, and keep his hand from doing any evil. Right? So you got to keep in mind, right? Mosai is saying that we got to make sure that we keep the Shabbat, so-called black Saturday. You got to make sure that you keep the Shabbat of the Mosai, man. You got to make sure that you keep the Shabbat of the Mosai. Right? We got to make sure that we are not doing no evil. Brother and sister got to cease from doing evil. Brother and sister must cease from doing evil. We must cease. You are without excuse. You can't give excuse to the Most High. You can't tell the Most High, well, Lord, you know, blah, blah, blah. No, man. We can't do that. Let me go right here. He said, neither let the son of the stranger that joined himself to the law, speak, saying, the law only separate me from his people. Neither let the inner say, behold, I am a dry tree. Right? For thou saith the Lord unto the inner that keep my Shabbat, and choose the thing that please me, and take hold of my covenant. Right? You got to keep in mind. set your house in order. All right? Go in the book of Isaiah 58, right? Let's read it. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 58 and verses 1. He said, cry aloud, spare not. So the Most High said, don't mind the feelings. Don't worry about the feelings. All right? Because you're dealing with your emotion, your feeling. You can't worship God. You cannot worship the Most High when you're dealing with your emotion and your feelings. That's what they do in the religion. All the religion, they deal with emotion and feelings. They get caught up, they get into the skin. Oh, you speak against me. You call me this and that, oh, man. You this and that. You know why? Because they don't know the Most High. All the religion, it doesn't matter the religion. They deal with the emotion and feelings, right? In the Bible, there's no emotion. The Most High ordered the angel to slay all type of, listen, it doesn't matter, slay them, destroy them, cut them off from the land of the living. So you got to let that go. Feelings, you're getting caught up into your emotion, man. You got to examine yourself, man. Right? Let's read it. He said, cry aloud. Isaiah 58 in verses 1. Cry aloud, spare not. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgression. You see, we got to show our people. We got to show the so-called blacks, Latino, and Native Indian. We got to show the house of Israel. We got to show Jacob. We got to show our people, because we're the one that need this food. We need this spiritual food. We need this spiritual food every day. We got to give glory to the Most High. That's why the Most High set up on the earth. We were not placed on the earth just to be freaking out, doing all type of evil madness. No. Our job is to glorify the Most High. You got to give glory unto the Most High, Yahweh, through who? YAHAWASHI and Mashiach. Right? Let's read it. He said, and the house of Jacob, their sins. So you see, again, the recipient right here is what? Is who? The house of Jacob. The house of Jacob. He's not talking about everybody. The house of Jacob. So, brother, we got to keep that in mind. It is very, very important that we remember what the Most High is saying. Why is the Most High talking the way he's talking? Who is he referring to? We got to always keep all those things into what? Into mind, into our mind. All right? Let's go right here. Actually, let me get Second Ezra, right? I want to bring that up before I forgot about it. All right? Let's go to Second Ezra chapter 14. Right? We're going to get Second Ezra 14. Right? All right, let's read it. This is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 14, and verse 13. It reads, now therefore, set thy house in order and reprove thy people. I just read it in the book of Isaiah, brother and sister. We got to reprove you. That's the only way we can set the house of Israel, the house of Jacob in order. The harvest is plenty, but the laborer, right, the workers are few. We got to pray the Most High that he sent down, he sent more laborers, more workers. But the harvest is plenty. We got to pray unto the Most High. Right? Let's read it again. Second Ezra chapter 14 and verse 13. Now therefore, set thy house in order and reprove thy people. What did the Most High say we got to do? We got to reprove our own people, man. We got to warn Israel. We got to warn Israel. We got to let them know that of the Most High, man. Right? We got to report. I think it was yesterday or early this morning from the UNICEF or the United Nations program for food. Right? You know what they're saying? They say famine is already hitting the whole world. They literally came up with is a new report that came out last night or early this morning. Where they said mainly they say part of Africa It's totally devastating, right? And it's coming here. And I'm waiting to see a lot of you, especially you're here, you're too proud in Babylon the Great. Here in Babylon the Great, you're too proud, right? Right? So because here they'll sue you for this and that. You know, if you give them, for example, some bread that you don't want to sell, you give them as a donation, they can still turn around and sue you. But guess what is about to go down? When famine hit America, when famine hit the United States of America, I want to see what your American going to do, right? Because there won't be enough food for you. What are you going to do? Are you going out to sue somebody? Who are you going to sue? Because the whole system will be in jeopardy by that time. The whole American system will be in jeopardy by that time. What are you going to do? You complaining, you go in the store, you take a product, you see one tomato bag, and you start complaining, this is mud, and you start crying. You start crying like a female dog. Huh? Guess what? The Messiah about to lay a heavy stone upon you. A heavy stone where you won't be able to remove it. Once the Messiah put that stone on America, on the United States of America, you won't be able to remove it. Because just wait, it's about to go down. Because you still take it for granted, right? You think you're gonna always have your food, you prepping, you saving on the water, you saving on toilet paper, you saving on this and that. It won't help you. Those things won't be able to do you no good. No. You can save all you want on water. You can save all the juice for your children. You can do whatever you want to do. Guess what? It won't profit you. It will not profit you. That's what we want you to understand. Especially your Babylon the Great inhabitant, you're so proud. You're very proud in this kingdom. Guess what? Your destruction is coming also as well. Huh? Because the scripture tell you what? Trials go before destruction, right? Right now, you're lifting up yourself, right? When you see one moldy bread, you don't want to eat that bread. You complain, right? Listen, even the moldy bread, you won't find it. That's how serious it's about to be. Even the moldy bread, you won't even find it. Huh? You won't even find it. Moldy bread, moldy tomato to eat, to survive, you won't be finding. Wait, that's where we're heading to. Don't you know what happened back in those days? Egypt was hit so many times by famine. The Mosai plagued Egypt with different famine at different times. The Mosai plagued the Canaanite. The Mosai plagued the Babylonian, and the list goes on and on and on. Guess what? The same thing is about to go down on Babylon the Great. Huh? Right? Because you think that you all go out, well, we have this, blah, blah, blah. Did you see the new report? They're telling U.S. military service members, right? They are not able, a lot of them, they say a lot of them, some of them are not able to put food on the table for the family. Guess what they're telling them? They're telling them to apply for what? Food stamp. U.S. military service members. Imagine that. Huh? Those that wear the uniform, right? They'll jeopardize their life. They'll go put the life in the front, right? To die for Joe Biden. They'll go sacrifice their life to save Joe Biden, to save Lloyd Austin, to save, you name it, John Kirkby, and the list goes on and on. Guess what? They can't put enough food on the table for the family and for the children. So they're telling them, go apply for food stamp, go apply for food, whatever you need. Imagine that. It's about to transpire, right? We're hearing that word. The railroad worker, the two I'll say, Labor Party, they're about to go on strike. And supposedly, according to the news, to the information that we received, they say 60% of most U.S. goods come through those freight, those trains. That's what they say. They say 60% of those goods. Because sometimes they might bring them through the sea, right? Then they load them on those trains, right? Sometimes they'll bring them through the airport, then they'll transport them over onto the closest train station, and they load them. They say 60%. 60%. So keep in mind, things going to get worse, buddy. Right? You're thinking that things going to get worse, especially for you out there. You don't believe in the Most High. You don't want to keep the commandment. You don't want to repent. You don't want to humble yourself. You don't want to live Christianity. You want to stop following the mainstream media. Hey, listen, man, you want to get caught up. You'll be too late. Because I know most of you don't believe it. Especially you're rebellious of our people, so-called blacks, Latino, and Native Indian. Super rebellious. Guess what? The Most High will punish you, man. YAHAWASHI, he's going to punish you, right? So keep in mind, things transpiring slowly. Things just getting worse every day. Every day you hear this, is like the whole building, right? And the next thing you realize, the roof is taken up. Next after the roof, the shingle, or I'll say the shingle take off, some shingles start falling apart. The next thing you realize, the gutter start breaking apart, right? You try and fix it while you try and fix the gutter and the shingle, all the beam that support the roof, they all start falling. Then you start running, try and fix that. Meanwhile, you try and fix that, guess what's happened? You got the rain that came down and start washing away the foundation. What are you gonna do, man? All these gonna melt together. I mean, they're gonna come together, fuse together, and it's gonna explode. And once it explodes, it's too late, buddy. Because you're living in the bubble. You're living in a box. You refuse to serve the Most High and worship the Most High. Right? Let's read. This is the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 14 and verse 13. Now therefore, set thy house in order and reprove thy people, confront such of them as being troubled. Right? And now renounce corruption. Hold on. What did the Most High say? We got to renounce corruption. That's how you set your house in order. You renounce corruption. What is corruption? You sinning, you lying, you murdering, you killing, you doing abortion. Anytime you do abortion, you sacrificing your baby to Moloch and Baal. You don't know that? It doesn't matter what they're telling you. Anytime you sacrifice or you kill your baby, the innocent life, you know what you're doing? You're literally doing what a human sacrifice. You're sacrificing what? Your son or your daughter unto who? Baal and who? And the other? Devil or bastard. Keep in mind. Right? So you got to keep in mind. Right? We got to walk. Renounce corruption. 2 Ezra 14 and 13. Let go from thee mortal thought. Mortal thought. We got to let it go. Mortal thought of what? When you're thinking about you going in the store and robbing the store. You're thinking about you going into the street and start stabbing people. You stab one person over here, you stabbing you. No. You got to renounce those evil thoughts. You're thinking about robbing the bank. No, that's not righteousness. That's the work of Satan. That's for the children of Satan. You got to remember. All right? Let's really he said, well, let go from thee mortal thoughts. Cast away the burden of man. Put off now the weak nature. We got to put off the weak nature, man. What is our weak nature? We're lusting after this and that. We want to buy this house. We want to buy that car. We want to buy this. We want to do this. Because you see your brother, he bought his shoes. Then you want the same shoes. Even though you don't have the money, then you go open a credit card. Then you take the credit card, then you go buy the shoes. No, man. That means you love the world. 1 John 2:15. 1 John 2:15 through 17 or 18. Right? He said, set aside the thought that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. You see that? It haste thee to flee from these times. That's what we're telling you, brother and sister. This is the time that you set your house in order. You warn your brother and your sister. You let them know that they have the Most High. Right? Because all hell is about to break loose. And I'm going to show you some of the title. The title of the news today. So you can be aware what is going on. It's about to go down. Right? Maybe you're hearing right now that the Russian, they cannot retrieve from some of this territory that they conquer from the Ukrainian. And you think that, well, Russia just lost, right? That's what you think in your mind. No. It's a game, man. It's a game. The Most High moving the streets say retreat. Let them come in, then you do the work. Let them come in, and then you do the work. You gotta understand. And it's all about to go crazy. Gas prices skyrocketing. More people gonna continue to drop dead. You already know why. I don't have to break it down for you. More people gonna be dropping dead. Yes, you're gonna see them. They're gonna be dropping dead near you. More people gonna get what all type of plague, disease, cancer, whatever you name it, man. Right? Right? Let's read it. Say, for yet greater evil than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. Huh. Just think about it. The Mosai literally told Esdras, he said, listen, get ready. Get ready, brother. My son, he said, get ready. He said, now this evil you see right here, much more greater is about to happen. Hold on. And what do they teach you in the Christian church? What are your politicians telling you? They're making you believe that everything is going to be fine, right? That's what they're telling you, right? No, it won't be fine. It's all going to be hell. Remember in the days of Noah, people were building, people that were celebrating, right? They were doing all types of things that they do. Until the water came down from the Most High. Until the water came down from the Most High, it swept them away. Until the water came down, it swept them away. It's about to happen. I know you don't believe it. You think maybe this brother just crazy. When you see the brother teaching on the highway on the byway, the camps are bringing a warning, you telling you to repent, stop stealing, don't lie, don't kill, don't commit adultery, don't worship no idol, come out of Christianity, come out of Islam, come out, you know. They're telling you, thou self the Most High, the brother loves you. The brother loves you. So the Most High telling Esdras, he said, well, let's read it again. So let's read it again. Because like I said, man, a lot of time, people read the scripture, the word of the Most High, and they have no clue what is the Most High talking about. So our job is to give you understanding, right? Right? So let's read it again, right? Let's read it again. 2 Ezra chapter 14 and verses 15. It said, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, right? Unto thee, and has thee to flee from this time. Has thee to flee from this time, brother. We got to flee spiritually and what physically, right? We got to flee spiritually and physically. We have to. Would you be here? You want to stay here when the Most High burning this place? Right? Let's read it. Right? We got to flee. Let's read it again. Verses, let me jump to verses 16. It said, for yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. You see that? It's about to be like horrible. Just think about it. Huh? Think about 2 Ezra chapter 14 and read from verse 13 down. Huh? The Most High letting our forefather know, Ezra. He said, listen, man, this thing you see right now, you think it's bad? The Most High said, it's nothing yet. It's going to be worse. The Most High said, I'm going to lay sore stroke on men and women on the face of the earth, because they're hypocrite, very hypocrite, rebellious, and wicked. They don't believe in the Most High. They only believe in politicians. They worship politicians. They worship the mainstream media. Right? Like I said, distraction upon distraction. And the people don't care. It doesn't matter how many times you want to tell them. They don't care. The people don't care. Right? But look how much the world shall be wicked through ages. And that's what we're seeing right now. The Most High told Esdras, he said, by the age going by, there will be more evil on the face of the earth. And that's what we're seeing right now. That's what we're witnessing right now. You see more evil on the face of this earth. It's all you see is weakness. You don't see no righteousness. From who? It's hard to come across righteousness. You can't see right. All you see is evil. That's all you see throughout the fucking this world, and they don't care. So the Most High said, listen, through the ages, as the time passed by, or the time goes by, or the time went by, there'll be more evil done in those days. There'll be more evil than in the time of who? Esdras. There'll be more evil than in the time of who? The apostle. And that's why your witness is about to go down. Anywhere, everywhere you turn, you see the SD. You see the SD. They're all over the place. The SD, they're all over the place. The SD, we're speaking in the spirit. They're all over the place. And you can't say anything. Because they don't want you to tell the truth. They don't want the people to be saved. They don't want the people to be saved. They want the people to be saved. They don't want the people to be saved. They want everybody to die and perish. That's the whole idea. The NWO. They want everybody to continue in the midst of sin. That's where all the program, whatever they're presenting you, they're bringing up to you, is all about evil. Huh? It's all about evil. It's all about evil. So let's see what the Mosai said again. He said, for look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much the more shall evil increase upon them that dwell therein. For the truth is fled far away, and reason is hard at hand. There we go. There's no truth on the earth. That's why you can't tell the truth. Why they say, oh, you teaching hate, you spreading hate, you spreading misinformation, oh, blah, 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 blah. Guess what? The Mosai already said it. It's in the Bible. You can't, look, you can't rebuke somebody. You can't show love to anybody. They'll demonize you. The power there be, they'll demonize you. You can't speak the truth. It's there. You're going to have to be in the spirit. You got to use wisdom to bring out, brother, account be taken down. Video be strike. Brother, whole YouTube channel be taken down. That's the time we live, because you got demons all over the place. The demon have taken hold of it. Listen, all over the earth, man. That's why, brother, you got to get your house in order. Set your house in order. Right? Let's read it. He said, for now has a division to come, which thou hast seen. Right? Then answered I before thee and said, behold, Lord, I will go as thou hast commanded me, and reprove the people which are present. But then thou shalt be born afterward, who shall admonish them. So Ezra is like, Lord, well, I'm going to go right now, and I'm going to make sure that, I set the house of Israel in order. Now, after my death, and after the death of those that are here right now, those that will be born hereafter, who's going to warn them? Ezra, he was thinking on the lower level. Like, he was thinking, well, if he died, there will be no. The Mosai already set up everything. Man. The Mosai, he got servants set up from the beginning, man. Right? The Mosai, his hands are not short. Right? So Ezra was like, well, so if that's the case, when I die now, who's going to teach those that will be born hereafter? Who will teach them? The Mosai already set up everything, right? Hey, porque el chinito me dice que ya no puede enseñar la palabra allá, hermano. El chinito, el diablo, me dice que ya no puede enseñar la palabra allá. Nosotros vivimos y en el último tiempo, hermano. Eso es muy triste. Muy triste. Exacto, exacto, exacto. Pero mira, toda esa obra de Dios, sin problema. Dice que ese es su negocio, ok, sin problema. Ya no me preocupe. El Señor me da ese lugar ahorita. Sí, eso es suficiente. Ya no sé por cuánto tiempo, pero todo depende, del anticipo. Comentamos la familia, bien. Excelente, excelente, excelente. Que Dios te bendiga, hermano. Right? So let's continue, right? So you gotta keep in mind, right? So he was asking the Mosai, he said, who shall admonish them? Who's gonna warn the people that are gonna be dead? He said, who's gonna warn them? Who's gonna tell them to keep the commandment, to keep the Shabbat, You can't eat no pork. You can't eat no blood. You can't cook halfway cook, right? Medium. No. He said, who is going to do the work? Huh? Right? Let's read it. Thus the world is set in darkness, and they that dwell therein are without light. Yeah, without light, without Amashiach, man. Because the light came in there, reject the light. Right? Amashiach came, let me go over there quick. He came in there, reject the light. Let's go to John chapter 1, man. Right? Let's go to John chapter 1. Right? John, right? Let's go to John chapter 1. Watch this. Men love darkness, man. They don't love Amashiach. They're wasting time talking about Muhammad. Muhammad cannot save you. If you want, you can believe that. He can't save you. He's looking for somebody to save his behind. All right? You got to keep in mind. Islam cannot save you. Neither Islam nor Christianity will be able to save you. None of your religion will be able to save you. None. You got to do righteousness. You got to do righteousness. That's the only way. There's no other way for you. Let's read this, man. Right? He said, because Ezra is telling the Most High. The Most High letting Ezra, he's pouring his mind. He said, listen, man, then the whole world will be lying in darkness. Because they hate light. Right? They hate the word of the Most High. You see how many people walk past by? They are not interested in the word of the Most High. They are not interested. They don't look good on the Most High. They don't think good of the Most High in their mind. Don't worry about where. Let me some junk food. Let me go get my junk food, my Gatorade. Let me go get my Gatorade. I need my Pepsi, my Coca-Cola. That's what they're worrying about, huh? That's what they're worrying about. That's all they're worrying about day and night, huh? They don't think of the Most High. Do they think good of the Most High? The Creator, Yahweh, YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, Kodash. They don't, man. They only worry about the belly, right? That's why you see some of them, you know, they're all over the place, man. Why? Because they just lusting after the food. That's all. Let's read this. This is the book of John, chapter 1, and verses 4. In him was life, and the life was the light of man. So you got to keep in mind, Amashiach is the light of man. Amashiach, the one that you call naively and ignorantly Jesus Christ. YAHAWASHI Amashiach is the light. Right? Let's continue. Verses 5. And the light shined in darkness. The light shined in darkness, and the darkness comprehended not. See that? They don't understand. That's what Ezra is being taught to respect the Most High, YAHAWASHI. Ezra was being taught about it, right? Because what's this? He said, who shall admonish them? Thus the world is set in darkness, and they that dwell in are without light. For thy law is burned. The law of the Most High is burned. Like they don't care. They don't care about the law, the commandment of the Most High. They say the law done away, even though Amashiach. YAHAWASHI Amashiach said it clear. He said in Matthew 5:17 through 20, Amashiach said, think not. Don't even put in your mind. Your dirty mind, don't think about it. He said, think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophet. I came not to destroy, but to fulfill. Which law did he fulfill? The sacrificial law. The law of the sacrifice. The right way that used to be done when we sin. If it's a sin that need to be amended through what? Sacrifice of what? The he-goat, the ram, and the list goes on and on and on. If it's not something that can be heard through that, then guess what? You're going to get obliterated, right? You're going to get destroyed. You got to keep in mind. All right, let's read it. He said, for the law is burnt. The law of the Most High is burnt. Men and women don't care. They just don't care. They just want to do their freaking off. They just want to do whatever they want, man. They don't care. Right? He said, for thy law is bad, therefore no man knoweth the thing that I've done of thee, or the works that shall begin. Right? So you got to keep in mind. Are you going to set your house in order, or are you going to continue to postpone to give excuses unto the Most High until you get caught up, until maybe this coming Monday? Who knows what's going to happen? Brother and sister are about to freeze to death in Europe, right? Brother and sister are about to freeze to death. Judah, Benjamin live in Europe. In countries like France, Germany, in England, and the list goes on. They're about to freeze to death, right? We're hearing that the power of what Germany is about to go out. Why? The energy, you know why? Because they say a lot of people went and bought this electrical heater. And you know, this electrical heater, they consume a lot of electricity. A lot. Imagine that. Imagine how everybody start plugging that thing into electricity. The next thing you're going to realize, our bow is going to explode. Things is about to get worse, brother and sister. Things going to get worse, man. You got to look for what alternative news, right? Believe me. Don't follow the mainstream media. The mainstream media, if you follow that, you're going to get deceived. You got to look for what alternative. There's so many YouTube channels right now that do good, decent news to keep you updated what is going on, what is transpiring, what is about to happen. They be telling you those things. They might not be 100% accurate, right? Correct, but guess what? At least whatsoever they're saying, you can see it's way better than whatever the mainstream media and your politician has been feeding you all this time. Let's get a couple more precepts, right? Let's go in the book of Luke, chapter 6, 31 through 42. Luke chapter 6, 31 through 42. This is the book of Luke, chapter 6, verses 31 through 42. Right? Let's read it. And as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. Right? So you got to do the thing you want the other brother, the other sister to do to you. You got to do the same thing to them, man. Right? If you don't want somebody to do something to you, make sure you are not doing the same thing to the other brother. Man. Verses 32. For if you love them which love you, what they have ye? Right? For sinner also love those that love them. So you got to keep in mind. If you only want to love the brother that is in the truth, right? You only want to love those only that you know, then you off. Right? Amashiach said, what is the point? Right? Maybe you don't know the brother. Maybe the brother doesn't belong to your camp. He belongs to another camp. You got to love that brother too. You got to love that brother. Maybe the brother just showed up at your camp for the first time. You don't know what is he. No. You got to treat the brother righteously because you don't know. The Moses said, even sinner, they love their own self. So what are we doing better than sinner? Right? Let's keep on going. Luke chapter 6 and verse 33. And if ye do good to them which do good to you, what thing have ye? For sinner also do even the same. And you're going to realize a lot of people, we cannot use to that mentality, which the Most High is telling us that we got to get rid of. Right? Mostly people want to do good to those that they only know. That's a lot of issue that we got to deal, we got to fix, we got to correct. They're only thinking in their mind that they can only give to those the one that they know. Amashiach said no. The person doesn't need to be the son of your father or the daughter of your father for you to give them something or to help them out. No. Because remember what Amashiach said. It is blessed to give them to receive. It is blessed to give them to receive. So the brother that going to high on the byway, doing the work of the Most High freely, they don't say, guess what? You got to keep in mind, right? So we got to correct some of those things that we do. We got to correct. So you only want to do good to those that you know. Well, you know the brother, you belong to the same camps. Well, you don't know that brother, I don't know the brother. I don't know the brother, and I don't know which camp. Is the brother keeping the commandment? Well, bro, you do good, man, and you ain't got to worry. Because your reward come out to the Most High, right? Now, if you know for sure that this person you try and do good to, if it's going to be smoking weed, getting high, right? Maybe early in the morning, right? Going in the liquor store, right? Maybe 5 a.m., 7 a.m., he's in the liquor store getting like 20 bottles, trying to drink himself up, right? Trying to swim in the liquor thing like that. That's a different story. And you still got to examine that to make sure that you're doing properly, right? Right? Maybe you want to address the brother. What is the brother going through? Things like that. Maybe you need to pray for the brother, right? So we got to pray for people that we don't even know. Even these people sometimes, right? We know that they're wicked, they're doing that. We still got to pray for them. We got to pray for people we don't know. We have to. Because that is a reward. That's what the scripture telling us, right? There's the book of Luke, chapter 6, and verses 34. And if ye lend to them of whom ye hope to receive, what thing have ye? So you only want to do to those that you know. You know that, well, this guy, yeah, he got a good job. I know he's kind of short right now. If I borrow him the money, I know he'll pay me back. But you're looking at the other brother and say, well, if I let him loan my money, he might not pay me on time. Or he might default. Think like that. He said, what thing have ye? For sinner, also lend to sinner to receive as much again. You see that? You see? That's what we're talking about. But love ye your enemies, right? So you gotta love your brother. Even though the brother is off, the brother ain't keeping the commandment, you already know. We still gotta be like, well, we gotta be patient, right? We gotta be patient because vengeance is of the Most High. The Most High will bring vengeance upon them at one day or the other, right? He said, but love ye your enemies and do good and lend, hoping for nothing again. Imagine that. That's the part that it is really hard for Israel to do. Huh? It's very hard for Israel to do this part because most of the time we only want to do it to those that we know that are in our circle, within our circle. That's what we always do, huh? Right? But we got to go beyond that. We got to do good to our enemies. Those that persecute us day and night. And that's what we do when we go work for Esau, right? Us working for Esau. We helping Esau. We setting up his business, doing everything righteously. We ain't stealing from Esau. He said, well, and your reward shall be great, and ye shall be the children of the highest, right? For he is kind unto the unthankful and unto the evil, which is true. The Most High is good unto both the wicked and the righteous. You see a lot of wicked people, they got money, they're living good, they got whatever they need, right? The Son of the Most High rises up both on the wicked and the righteous. When it rains for both the righteous and the wicked. When it snows for both the wicked and the righteous, right? Be ye therefore merciful, as your Father also is merciful. Judge not, and ye should not be judged. Condemn not, and ye should not be condemned. Forgive, and ye shall be forgiven. Right? Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure. Right? Press down and shaken together and running over. Shall men give into your bosom. For with the same measure that ye made without, it shall be measured to you again. And he spake a parable unto them. And he spake a parable unto them. Can the blind lead the blind? Can the blind lead the blind? That's a good question. And the answer is what? Yeah, they can lead each other. Because both of them gonna fall into the ditch, man. Can the blind lead the blind? Shall they not both fall into the ditch? The disciple is not above his master, but everyone that is perfect shall be as his master. So Amashak said, if you're righteous, you keep the commandment, You're just going to be as well as your master. Who is our master? Amashiach. 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 Let's go in the book of Galatians chapter 5 and 19. This is the book of Galatians chapter 5 and verse 19. Galatians 5:19. It reads, this is the book of Galatians chapter 5 and verse 19. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery. So that's why you got to set your house in order. We got to warn our people, right? The evil thing that they do, we got to remind them that the Most High is about to lay a hand on them, and it won't be good, because it is a very fearful thing to fall into the hand of the living power of power, man. It is deadly. Once you fall into the hand of the Most High, it's over. Game over. It's too late. There's no coming back, man. Let's read. Galatians chapter 5, verse 19 through 21. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, right? Boyfriend, girlfriend, right? If you want to get a multiple wife, you got to, hey, let your wife know, man. But don't be having one wife, your wife is in the house, and you're in a hotel, right? You're in a hotel in the night, or you're lying, you're telling your wife that you're going to job, that you got to go to work, and then you leave the house, and the next thing you're in a motel, or you're in a hotel, huh? Freaking out with somebody else's wife, you're freaking out with somebody else's, husband, things like that, huh? If you want to get 2 wives, you go get 2 wives, huh? If you need 3 wives, make it public, man. But don't be hiding it. Somebody see me? I don't think nobody see me. Oh, well, can I go inside? No, man. That's what the Most High said, man. No boyfriend, no girlfriend, no fiancé, all those thieves, man. Right? Let's read it. He said uncleanness, uncleanness. Let's suppose what? What is uncleanness? You eating pork, pepperoni pizza, you eating swine, you eating like chicken bake, all those things, they got unclean meat in it, huh? Right? You eating shrimp. The Most High said, no, you'll be unclean, man. If your woman is dealing with her, the thing that she deal with, and then you still trying to touch your wife at that time, the Most High said you'll be unclean, man. You can't do those things. Right? You say, well, lasciviousness, right? Idolatry. Like you got multitude of our people into idolatry. Multitude of our people in idolatry. They're worshiping idols. They're worshiping Caesar Borgia. See, this brother walking down there, I guarantee you, this brother, man, our people, Israel, man, Israel is totally destroyed, man. Israel is destroyed, man. Our people destroyed. Our people destroyed. Our people destroyed. Not only when they're coming back, I'm going to seg away a little bit. Maybe they might show up in the camera. I guarantee you right now, this brother already drunk at this time. They're already drunk. This northern king already drunk right now. Already drunk. And I see them, they're heading again toward what? VABC, man. They're heading toward what? VABC. Virginia Alcohol Beverage Control. Right? They're heading toward the liquor store. I mean, like, so how much more time do they spend? So if you got to drink that much, when you lose your mind, you can't work, you don't have a job, and you just drinking. You just drinking. You don't have a job. You don't work. You just running around. This guy give you maybe $5 over here, $10. You collecting money from people, and you just buying bottle after bottle. All you do is just drink and eat. You just get drunk constantly. What kind of lifestyle is that, man? Unless these brothers repent, what will happen to them? Destruction, man. Unless these brothers repent, man. Because when I see them, like it kind of messes, like these are unbelievable, man. And like I'm not saying that they shouldn't drink. They can drink, but you drink with what? Moderation. Do all things with moderation. Like if your brother and you sit down, you're drinking 12 to 5 soda a day, you bet, hey, like, I don't know, bro. You getting drunk on soda, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, that's bad. You literally getting drunk. If you're just sitting in front of your TV and you're watching the NFL press season, or you're watching, I don't know, basketball, whatever, for 6 hours, 3 hours, you're getting drunk, bro. Getting drunk. You're getting drunk, bro. And I'm not talking about literally alcohol in this case. I'm just talking about you drinking demons. You're letting demons take over you, over your mind, your brain. You don't want that, bro. You don't want that system. So let's get back to Galatians chapter 5 and verses 19. It says uncleanness, right? Lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft. There's a lot of women these days into that witchcraft. A lot of women, man. A lot of these women are in that witchcraft these days, man. A lot of them, tons of these women, they're into that witchcraft. It's a popular thing right now, mainly here in Babylon the Great. Right? Mainly in Babylon the Great is a popular thing. It's a lot of witches. And you got the men practicing witchcraft as well. That's the time we're in right now. Things are not looking good, brother and sister. Right? You say, well, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, violence, emulation, wrath, strife, sedition, heresy, envy, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of which I tell you before, as I've also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of Yahweh. Right? So, brother and sister, that's why you got to purge. You got to purge sin out of your life, man. Right? You got to set your house in order. You got to set your house in order, brother and sister. You got to set your house in order. Right? You got to set your house in order, brother and sister. This is beyond 10 commandments. You see that word? You see how many number? I mean, like, because a lot of you out there in the Christian church, you've been deceived, you've been killed, you've been seduced, you've been raped. Believing is only 10 commandments. You're out of your mind, man. What are you smoking, man? What are you smoking to believe that the Moses spent 40 days and night with Moses just to give him 10 commandments? What are you smoking, man? Why are you freaking out? Thinking about where the Moses just bring Moses, right, to commune with him 40 days and 40 nights just to give him 10 commandments. Just to give him less than a page. Because those 10 commandments is a half page, man. It's a half page. So you think the Moses just sitting in playing, you know, just kicking some ball, throwing some basketball. The Moses just like, where Moses? Can you dunk Moses? Where Moses? Can you score? Can you head it? No, man. Is that what the Moses was doing? The Moses telling Moses, yeah, can you juggle? Yeah, let me show you how to juggle. Is that what the Moses was doing with Moses? No. The Moses was instructing Moses, the Torah, the children of Israel through Moses. The Moses didn't tell Moses, where can you dunk? Can you score? Can you do this? No, man. For 40 days now, man, what are you smoking, man? You need to wake up. Wake out of your deep sleep. Wake up, man. So the Most High in the week is in the community, Amashiach, right? The heavenly host, the elders, they're following Moses. The light is on them, wherever they move. 40 day and night. He was with the Most High. So for the Most High to just give you what? 10 commandments? Wow. You must be smoking something. I don't know why you're smoking, and that thing is going to kill you. Right? I don't know why you're smoking. So let's see if this even is anywhere closer to the 10 commandments. And when you read the word in the Bible, the word has several meanings. When you read a word in the Bible, the word has several meanings. All right? The word has several meanings. Right? So let's read it. I'm going to go back again. We're going to count it. Right? He said, now, this is the book of Galatians. Galatians chapter 5 and verse 19 through 21. Let me show you some of these words. He said, now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery. That's one. Right? And adultery goes into two different categories. Spiritual adultery, spiritual adultery. So our people that are Muslim and Christian, they're practicing what? Spiritual what? Adultery. Because they forsook the Most High to go worship idols. Then you got the second what? Category, which is talking about what? You're having sex out of your marriage. Right? You were sleeping in the corner everywhere. Right? You try and get this promoter, this position here and there. All you're doing, getting the quiver, you're receiving the quiver, and you're doing all type of madness, right? That's two category right there, just in the word adultery. Just in that one. Then you got what? Fornication. You got two categories of fornication. Spiritual fornication and what? Physical fornication. The spiritual fornication is dealing with what? The day we became Christian, Muslim, the day we became witches, whoremonger, the day you joined the Freemason, the fraternity, and the brotherhood, that day you became what? A fornicator. In the sense that you left the Most High. You left the Most High, our God, the unique power, to go give your soul unto this, I'll say, like, I don't even know the word. To give yourself unto what? Weakness. And then you got what? Physical fornication. Boyfriend and girlfriend, fiance, that's fornication as well. So only those two words has what already? 4 different major categories. 4. So far, imagine. So you telling me about 10 commandments? I'm already at 4 so far. 4 already covering, only 4 so far. Only 2 words, 2 of these sin, this group, that I only got so far 4 category. Then you got what? Uncleanness. Then that's another one, uncleanness. But what uncleanness in the Bible got different meaning. All right? If you touch a dead dog, you'll be unclean. If you go lay down with your wife, meanwhile she's dealing with her bloody season, her bloody time, guess what? You'll be unclean. That make it see so far, right? If you eating shrimp, you eating pork, guess what? You'll be unclean. That make it what? 7. If you are what? A man and you're dealing with a man, how make you unclean? So, I mean, just these 3 first words, adultery, fornication, uncleanness, it covers over 10 different commandments in the Bible. It covers over 10 different commandments and law in the Bible. Imagine that. And I'm not done yet. Then you got what? Lasciviousness. Then you get idolatry. You worship money, you worship men and women, you worship the president, and do all that for you. That's what the scripture is talking about, man. Witchcraft, hatred. Man, come on, man. You to tell me 10 commandments in the Bible? Man, you smoking, man. I don't know why you smoking. I don't know. All right. Let's go right here in the book of Romans chapter 12 and 2. Romans chapter 12 and verses 2. Right? Let's read this book of Romans chapter 12 and verses 2. Right? Let's just read from verses 1. Right? This is the book of Romans chapter 12 and verses 1. I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Yahweh, right, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice. We got to present our temple, our houses, our body. We got to present our house. We got to present the rest of our brother and sister, bro, a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto Yahweh, which is your reasonable service. What is our reasonable services? Presenting the house of Jacob in order. We got to present the house of Jacob in order. We got to set it in order, righteous. We got to want brother and sister, right? Right? And be not conformed to this world. So you don't want to love the world. Huh? You cannot be conformed to this world. Huh? You cannot be conformed to this world. And be not conformed to this world, but be transformed. We got to be changed. We got to set our house in order. We must set our house in order. All right. Hey, I want to put out there for YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, copywriting like that. The music you hear in the background is not my music. Somebody just driving by and just park the car just to buy something and they're just playing the dirty music. It's not my music. Disclaimer, it's not my music. I'm not playing the music, right? All right, copyright things like that, This music you hear in the background is not my music. I'm not playing the music and it's not my music, right? It's a wicked, woman driving past by, just parked the car, she left the music on, all right? All right? We just want to put out there. It said this is the book of Romans 12 and verses 2. And be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Yahweh. See what I'm saying? That's why we got to be in the spirit, brother and sister. We got to be in the spirit. You can't just do what you want. You want to do your own thing. No. Let's jump to verses 17 through 21. Romans chapter 12, 17 through 21. Right? This is the book of Romans chapter 12, 17 through 21. Recompense to no man evil for evil. Provide things honest in the sight of all men. If it be possible, as much as lie in you, live peaceably with all men. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourself, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine. Right? It's written what in the Bible. The Most High already said, vengeance is his, man. Vengeance is of mine. Vengeance is mine. I'll repay, saith the Lord. Deuteronomy chapter 32 and 35. Deuteronomy 32 and 35. All right? He said, therefore, if thine enemy hunger, if your enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in so doing, thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. We got to overcome evil with good. Brothers and sisters, we got to set our house in order, man. We got to set our house in order. We got to be ready, man. All hell is about to break loose, man. We got to be ready, brothers and sisters. We got to be ready, right? Let's go right here. This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 4. Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 1 through 6. Therefore, he said, I therefore the prisoner of the Lord. Paul, he was the prisoner for who? For Amashiach, because of the word, because of the truth, because of righteousness. Right? You can't serve the Most High without being what? Afflicted. You're going to be afflicted. Huh? Don't get it twisted. You think you want to serve the Most High where you can just everything's just whatever, slow, blah, blah, blah. No, huh? Right? Maybe not right now, but it's about to go down. Right? Right? He said, well, beseech you that ye walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called, with all lowliness, Like Amashiach, he was humble, super duper humble. Amashiach, he humbled himself deeply. Huh? Humbled himself deeply. Amashiach, he humbled himself. Right? He said, well, with all lowliness and meekness, with long suffering, forbearing one another in love, in the keeping of the commandment, forbearing one another in love. In what? In love. What is he talking about? The keeping of the commandment. We are forbear one another when it comes to the commandment of the Most High. We got to let the brother know. You want the sister, you want the brother, he want the sister, she want the sister, and the list goes on and on and on, man. And endeavoring to keep the unity of the spirit in the bond of peace. There's one body and one spirit, even as ye are called in one hope of your calling, one love, one faith, one baptism, one Yahweh and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all. Here we go. Let's get Psalm 32 and 8. There's a book of Psalm, chapter 32. Here's the book of Psalm, chapter 32, and verses 8. It reads, I will instruct thee and teach thee in the way which thou shalt go. Thou shalt the Most High. Huh? Don't lean onto your own understanding. The Most High told us in the book of Proverbs. When you go to Proverbs chapter 3 and verses 5 through 8, lean on to that own understanding, man. You got to acknowledge the Most High in all the things that you do. We must and we have to acknowledge the Most High in whatsoever we do. All right? Let me read one more verses. He said, I'll guide thee with my eye. Right? Be ye not as the horse or as the mule. As the mule, we have no understanding, whose mouth must be held in weed, beat and bright, lest they come near unto thee. Right? Let's go to Philippians 4 and 8. Philippians 4 and 8. Philippians chapter 4 and verses 8 through 9. Philippians 4, 8 through 9. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just. Shalom, brother. Whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things, right? Those things which ye have both learned and received and heard and seen in me, do, and the Yahweh of peace shall be with you. That's what we're telling brother and sister. All right? There's the book of 1 Corinthians 6:19. I love this one. This one is, I love it. There's the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 19, right? I'm going to read 19 through 20. It said, what? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost, which is in you, which ye have of Yahweh, and ye are not your own? Brother and sister, let's just stop right there. And ye are not your and ye are not, hold on, let me read it again. Which ye have of God, and ye are not your own, and ye are not your own. Because in the Christian church, politics and democracy, they seduce and deceive our people, making them believe that, well, it's your body, it's your life, you can do whatever you want. No, the Most High said you can't do it. You cannot do it. You can't do it. All right? You are not on your own. Who made you? Did you make your own self? No. Who made you? Who made us? Who made us? The Most High. Don't believe that garbage, making you believe that we're all just explosion was Big Bang theory. No, that's garbage, man. That's the work of Satan. All right? There ain't no such thing as Big Bang theory. No. That's the work of Satan and his children. The Most High created man out of, in his image. That's the Most High. It said 1 Corinthians 6 in verse 19 through 20. What? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost, which is in you, which ye have of Yahweh, and ye are not your own? For ye are bought with a price. You understand that? So stop lying, stop hurting and killing your own self, talking about, it's my body, I can do what I want. You can't tell me nothing. I ain't gonna relevate you. No! The blood of Amashiach bought you with what? A heavily, super expensive, priceless. Man, are you kidding me? He said, for ye are bought with a price. Therefore, glorify Yahweh in your body. So, brother and sister, the woman cannot wear pants. The woman cannot be wearing like you see them, and they're all walking here naked. Huh? They're all walking on here naked, practicing witchcraft. Huh? Just seducing men and women out here. Huh? This woman, they're seducing women and men at the same time. Right? He said, glorify Yahweh in your body and in your spirit, which are God's. You see that? It's going in the book of what? Hebrew 13. Hebrew 13 and 5. This is the book of Hebrew chapter 13 and verses 5. Let your conversation be without covetousness, right? Well, why? Because the Most High hate covetousness. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, he hate covetousness. And I'm going to show you why. Bear with me. So like here for a minute. Hermana, hola. ¿Tiene un minuto por la palabra de Dios? ¿Ah? Después. All right, let's go to it. I want to show you. Because this alone will expose Christianity. These verses I'm about to read is to expose Christianity. Right? Because they don't study the Bible. They just talk out of their mouth. They just talk. They just talk out of their mind. They don't know what's going on. They just talk. And these verses I'm about to read is going to expose. It's going to expose the lie of the Christian church. Because they don't know what they're talking about. Right? Let's jump to. This is the book of what? Let's read it. This is the book of Exodus chapter 20, right? Exodus chapter 20, right? And verses 17. 17 through what? I'll say through, 17. All right, we're going to spend time on that, right? He said, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. And that's what they do in the Christian church. They covet other people. As I'm speaking, you see, they come in naked. You can see. I don't have to say anything. They come out naked. You can see. This is another kingdom, right? They're coming out here naked. All the you don't like confusion, huh? All we see when we come out here is all madness, man. And they won't take heed unto the word of the Most High. Right? I gotta say that way. So, brother, can you see? That indeed the Bible is on point. When the Most High said that to Ezra, that in the latter time, in the end time, there will be more evil on the face of the earth. Huh? There will be more evil on the face of the earth. Huh? There will be more evil. That's what we see. They think it's cool because the papa and the mama failed to raise them properly. That's the main issue of our society or in our community. They failed to raise them. Well, you can't tell them anything. Right? Let's read it. Like I say, he said, thou shalt not covet. Exodus chapter 20 and 17. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. And who's done that? Esau, Edom. He taught it to our people too. He taught that to our people. Our people, they love covetousness. So-called blacks, Latino, and Native, they desire everything that you owe, man. Whatsoever you have, they want it. They want to take your whole house. They want your wife. They want to take your daughter. They want to take your car. They want everything that you own, man. So-called blacks, Latino, and Native. All right? Let's keep on rolling. He said, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. I just said it. No, it's man's servant. Right? That's what they do mainly in the Christian church. Right? The hard worker, they got to take their money, their salary. That's not your money. That's stealing. Because you're in power. So you're using your so-called power to rob, rape, and murder and steal from the people. That's not your money. You didn't work for it. You taking it from them, claiming that it's taxes. That you stealing. That's stealing. It's not your money. You didn't work for it. You can't count on that money because it's not your money. You didn't work for that money. That's his money or her money. See, this hidden the lunch, man. This hidden. They don't know what's going on. I already told you, man. Muhammad won't be able to save you on that day. Right? Muhammad won't be able to save you. On that day, Muhammad, he won't be able to save you. He's looking for somebody to save him too. Right? Let's read it. Nor his man servant, nor his maid servant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Right? But all they do, like I say, the Most High say, don't covet. What do they do? That's what they do. That's what they do. Right? Hebrew 13:5. Hebrew 13:5. Let me read it again. Let your conversation be without covetousness, and be content with such things as you have. Be sufficient. It should be enough for you. If you got 3 garments, it should be enough. When you see the brother walk by, you think in your mind, I want his garment. Why you want his garment, man? He work for his garment. He worked for his garment. He worked for his garment. All right? Oh, you saw the brother just got some new Jordan shoes. All of a sudden, you want that Jordan shoe. That's off. That's off. Go get your own, man. Go get your own. Get your own. Okay? He said, and be content with such things as he have. For he has said, I will never leave thee nor forsake thee. The Most High said in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 31. The Most High make the promise. The Most High said, as long as we keep the commandment, he'll provide us whatsoever we need. Now, if you're keeping the commandment, guess what? You got to be happy with what you're dealing with. Why? Because it's based on what you're living, what lifestyle you do, what you do, what work are you doing for the Most High. It's based on that you're going through whatever you're going through. Based on that. So don't complain, right? There are more people that are catching hell more than you do. It's more people. Let's go right here. Here's the book of Colossians, chapter 3 and 12. Here's the book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 12. This is Colossians, right? Colossians 3:12. Colossians 3:12. Put on, therefore, as the elect of Yahweh, holy and beloved, vows of mercies, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long suffering, forbearing one another, and forgiving one another. If any man have a quarrel against any, even as Christ forgave you, so also do ye. Right? So you gotta keep in mind, verse 14. And above all these things, put on charity, which is the bulk of what? Perfectness. Right? So you gotta keep in mind. Right? The time we're in right now, that's the time we're heading right now. Right? You gotta make sure that you set your house in order. Right? You gotta make sure you set your house in order. Right? We brought a whole bunch of precepts down. I want to take a look at some of the news, what is going on, what is happening, to keep brother updated. Yeah, see what is happening throughout the fucking of this earth, right? Let's see what is happening, brother and sister. And that's the main reason why this title I'm going to be bringing out, this article, is to let you know you must be ready. You must purge your house, right? You must set your house in order. Let me see, what does it want to bring up? All right, let me go right here. I want to read some of this title, so brother can be aware of what time we're in right now. Brother and sister can be aware of what is going on. Right? So let's start this. It said the world's biggest regional organization is not a military bloc, Kremlin. Right? Let's click onto it. But right now there is a meeting in I think it's Uzbekistan, if I'm not wrong. Right? I think it's in Uzbekistan. Right? I think so, if I'm not wrong. Right. I think it's Uzbekistan, right? He said the world's biggest regional organization is not a military bloc. So they're making mockery of what? NATO. NATO is a military bloc, right? Just to bully, to wage war, to shed blood, to do violence. And that's what they do, NATO. They don't have anything good for the world. All is about gun, drugs, bombs, drone, jet fighter. That's all it's about, man. I think it's in Texas or California, they're about to have today or tomorrow, or this coming, I think, I don't know if it's on the 16th. I think it's on the 16 or 15, whatever. They have this summit about weaponry, and that will be going down. I think it's in Texas or somewhere, right? Where you have Raytheon, Northrop Grumman or whatever you name it. Those, telling you, man. Let's read it. It said the Shanghai Cooperation Organization (SCO) goal is friendship in the name of something, not against someone. Dmitry Peskov said, right? Let's read it. Said the Shanghai Cooperation Organization (SCO), the world's biggest regional bloc with Russia and China among the members, is not an alternative to a military alliance. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told the media on Thursday. His remark came on the first day of the summit of the SCO, which currently has 8 members and is set to expand. Right? They got 8 members and they're set to expand, to grow up. Like you see the BRICS, right? The BRICS is expanding. Peskov explained that all relations in the SCO are built on the basis of mutual respect for each other's interests and mutual benefit. Right? No one set the goal of making the SCO an alternative to a military organization. Right? Because right now we know the CIA, the FBI, the US government, the NSA, they're monitoring and they're listening, trying to find out what they're discussing, what is being said, what is being planned at this summit, at this SCO summit, Shanghai, summit. They're trying to find out right now. Because we heard that yesterday, they have an emergency meeting, right? They have an emergency meeting yesterday, right? The head of the FBI, right? And the 8 gangs, right? The main gangs, the 8 gangs that decide, which law, what they're going to do. The 8 gangs, right? He said in the wake of the Russian military operation in Ukraine, relations between Moscow and the West are at all-time lows as NATO continues to expand and its members impose economic sanctions on Russia. Moscow insists that any attempt to isolate the country will fail. Right? So they're making it clear. He said the key organizations that Russia is a part of, such as the BRICS and SCO, are also expanding. Iran and Argentina officially applied for BRICS membership in late June. And Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Egypt have shown interest in joining the bloc. There we go. Because they're tired of Esau. These heathen, they're tired of Esau. They're tired of Esau, Edom. And they're tired of the hegemony of what? The hegemony of the United States of America. The dictatorship of the United States of America. The most wicked kingdom on the face of the earth is Babylon the Great. You don't believe it? You wait, you're going to learn the hard way. You don't believe this place is the most wicked? The oppression that goes on every second, every second, every minute, every hour. Don't you know the evil that they've been doing in America? Then I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know why you're smoking. I don't know why you're smoking. Then I don't know why you're smoking. Huh? I don't know. Right? He said, ahead of the summit in Samarkand, SCO Secretary General Zhang Min said the suggestion that there is a long queue outside the door to the organization is not an exaggeration. Right? They say they have a long queue. They say we are not just bluffing or talking foolishness or madness. There's a lot of people trying to join this thing, man. On Thursday, there's SCO signed a protocol with Iran, which paved the way for the country full accession. Imagine today. Today, the SCO Shanghai, what is the name again? Slovakia, man. Shanghai Cooperation Organization. They're just signing, they paved the way for Iran. They opened the door for Iran. He said on Thursday, which is today, right? The Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SCO, signed a protocol with Iran, which paved the way for the country's full accession. He said the SCO encompasses 40% of the world's population. Imagine that. And more than 30% of global GDP. Boom, there we go. Right? They're letting you know. Just this country, they make up 40% of the world population. So that's very, very big. That's serious. So imagine by the time more countries join them, game over, man. You're about to see what? The de-dollarization. You're about to see the de-dollarization. The dollar is about to be ditched in the ditch.
Two arms in a man's head. As the old woman watched, parts came together in a great entry. Justin, Christopher, wait 1 second.
It really said the organization currently has 8 full members. 8 full members. Right? 8 full members. Let's see what the members say. Russia, India, China, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Pakistan, and Uzbekistan. Belarus and Iran are now in the process of joining the SCO. Belarus, imagine that. That'll make them more mighty, right? Belarus and Iran are now in the process of joining the SCO and have observer status, along with Afghanistan and Mongolia. Imagine that. Imagine. On Tuesday, Uzbekistan's national SEO coordinator, Rakhmatullah Nurimbetov, revealed that six countries will receive the status of dialogue partner during the summit. Imagine that, man. Right? And sometimes, you know, is that another one? Right? I want to read a couple, right? Say Moscow unveiled detail on new gas pipeline to China. Right? There we go. Right? Say Gazprom is financing the detail on the construction of the Soyuz Vostok gas pipeline project with its Chinese and Mongolian partner. Russian President Vladimir Putin said on Thursday at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit. He held talks there with Chinese leader Xi Jinping and Mongolian President Ognejin Kuretsuk. According to the Russian president, Moscow is ready to develop cooperation with Beijing and Ulaanbaatar in the energy sector, which include the possibility of increasing cross-border electricity supply to the two countries. Imagine that. For this year, we predict 20% growth of energy transfer from Russia to your country, dear friend, of up to 5.2 billion kilowatts, Putin said. There we go. Right? Meanwhile, they're about to freeze to death in Europe. They're about to freeze to death, man. Let's read this article. It says China will work with Russia as great power. The Chinese leader said he's willing to work alongside Moscow to increase stability in the world. Right? Chinese President Xi Jinping wants to work with Moscow to take on the responsibility of great powers. He told his Russian counterpart on Thursday at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit. Right? So you can see these people, they're coming together. Let's read this. Right? It's a vital in serving the U.S. propaganda, right? Your mainstream media in America, Babylon the Great, keep in mind, is playing dirtier than ever in its information war against Russia, right? So from Taliban bounty to claims about North Korea, the U.S. media's anonymous sources are weaponizing fake news. See, America propaganda is all about fake news, man. Right? Uncle Sam say, I want you. You see Uncle Sam pointing the finger at you? He say, I want you. I want Russia. After the publication of a recent story in the New York Times based on allegedly declassified materials from U.S. intelligence agency about Russia's purchase of millions of artillery shells and missiles from North Korea for use in Ukraine, something went awry against the backdrop of statements from representatives of the State Department and the Department of Defense, who did not provide, right? They did not provide any factual information. John Kirby, the U.S. National Security Council coordinator for strategy communication, working back, he considered that there were no indication that the arms purchases actually occurred yet, or that any North Korean ammunition had made it into the battlefield in Ukraine. So by they're pushing that, I saw that on news couple of weeks ago. They say, well, they're buying weapons from North Korea. Man, they're just lying, man. The narrative, however, serves a number of purposes, highlighting the serious logistical problem for Russia and its local ally in the context of the military operation in Ukraine, demonstrating the effectiveness of US and EU export control measures, which China also apparently complied with, right? So you can see they made up so many things, just making up lies, right? You can see what is transpiring, brothers and sisters. He said, Ukrainian women assaulted by compatriots who mistook them for Russian. It is what it is, man. See, right now, the USA is holding drone swarm drill, man. Shalom, sis. Shalom. Hi, sis. Hey, quick question. Do you believe in the Mosai? You don't believe in God? You don't? He said, Lavrov, UN itinerary revealed after doubt about his attendance. Right? There we go. Let me see another one. Sure. Let me check this one right now. He said, let's read it. He said, US, the United States of America, cannot save the EU, the European Union, from energy crisis because they got problems here too. Right? They got problems right here too. Let me go to zero hedge, right? Let's go to zero hedge. All right, let's read this article. It's from zerohedge.com, right? He said, I got bad news for you. Mike Lando speak out after FBI seized his phone, right? The FBI seized the phone of who? Of Mike Lando, the guy of the pillow, right? The guy of the pillow. Let's read this quick. He said, I'll read a little bit. He said, my pillow CEO Mike Lando was picking up food at a fast food chain drive-through when 3 cars driven by federal agents blocked him. Right? They blocked him. There we go. It was September 13th afternoon in Mankato, Minnesota. Lando and a friend were halfway back from a dog hunting trip in Iowa. As one car pulled up perpendicularly in front of his car, a second pulled up alongside, and the third then appeared from behind, sandwiching Lando's car in the middle. Imagine that, man. They do violence, man. Ooh, the FBI. That's the FBI. But they could have gone to his house and served him a warrant or whatever. No, but they don't operate like that. They try to bring up fear. Lando struck his head out the car window. Who are you guys? He asked. The agent identified themselves as the FBI. We just wanted to talk to you, they said. Lando recorded in an interview with the Epoch Times. The FBI, he said, targeted him over the voter fraud allegation he has voiced, and later says his cell phone despite his vocal protest. So that's what is going on right now, right? Right? The FBI is being weaponized. They're using the FBI. That's what they do. That's how America operates. America was built on violence. Right? America is built on blood. There's no other way, man. It's a Putin said, see, U.S. push for unipolar world turning ugly. But China has concern over Ukraine. Right? He said American hegemony remains absolutely unacceptable. There we go. To the vast majority of nations on the planet. They say most nations on the earth, they're tired of America. They're tired of this place. right? Keep in mind. Let me say, there we go. It's a food stamps for U.S. soldiers. There we go. They're cooking it up for you, buddy. Right? Let's just read the label. It's a Washington Act perplexed as to why recruitment is nearing a record low. Food inflation. Food inflation is on the rise across the world, increasing 10.9% in the U.S. over the last year. This marks the largest 12-month spike in food prices since 1979. The food at home index spiked 15.8%, zero. A bakery good rose 15%. A dairy product rose 14.9% in the past year alone. Right? It's a service member who rely on government pay, not adjusted for inflation, are struggling. This may come as a surprise. The Pentagon believes 24% of enlisted personnel are food insecure. There we go. 24% of this military guy, they are food insecure. How on earth could the U.S. expect to maintain a strong military when nearly a quarter of members cannot provide the family with food? The military budget is certainly not hurting for fun. The U.S. Army is now recommending that service member, the U.S. Army, the United States of America Army, they're now recommending that service member apply for food stamps. There we go. So you don't see now that America is falling slowly and surely. It's going down slowly, buddy. Let's say the military member, the 24% that are struggling to feed the family, they say, get on the food stamp. He said, get on the food stamp. He said the U.S. Army is now recommending that service members apply for food stamp. So instead of using the fund from the military budget, the government wants to take those funds from a program designed for low-income individuals. And you know what does it mean? That's a smack in the face of your so-called blacks, Latino, and Latino. You don't want to do any work. You are not men. You are not blind. You got both of your arms. You can work. You can clean. You can cook. And you don't want to work. You're about to get hit now. Because they're going to prioritize the military first than you. Because the military, they're in the forefront, man. They're in the forefront, right? The line, I mean, right there, you already know, man. So it's about to get ugly. I won't read the whole article. You can get it, man. Right? The title of this article again is what? Food stamp for U.S. soldier, right? Right? It's from what? Zero Hedge. Okay. Okay, so keep in mind. Let me see if I can bring one more and I'm gonna bring some precept and we're gonna close it out. I want to see if there be any other decent one, right? There we go. The New World Order, man. The New World Order is working. It's a Europe's State of the Union, a war economy without the gun to support it. There we go, man. If that's what you want, you'll figure out. Let's go right here. This is about all your green agenda, right? Let's read what they're about to do. It's a President Biden, right? Ice cream eater, Joe Biden, to announce 900 million in EV charging fund. The EV stands for what? Electrical vehicle, green agenda. And where they're going to get those things from? They're going to go to Africa, poor country in Asia, and they're going to mess them up and to bring whatever they need to do, the electrical vehicle, right? The green agenda, right? Imagine that. Green agenda. I'm going to read you this article. You're going to get it on Zero Hedge. Like I say, I'm going to show you the title. You go over there, you read it on your own. Okay? You read it on your own, right? You read it on your own. I won't read it for you. You go ahead and you read it. I just give you the title so you can let that sink into your mind. Maybe you're sleeping so you can wake up. Okay, there we go. This one is a good one, right? He said, no, seasonally adjusted initial jobless claim crashed to 53 years low. There we go. There's people being jobless lately, man. Right? Let's read this one right here. He said, Americans continue to pile on more and more debt. Yeah, listen, man. You know, the natural resources of the United States of America is debt. You don't know that? They're laden themselves with tea clay. The Babylonian, right? The Babylon the Great has laden herself with tea clay. They're digging their own grave. The number one natural resources of the United States of America is what? Debt. That's the diet. The diet of American is debt. The diet of American is what? Debt. Then, look, I mean, the US dollar, the piece of paper is backed by what? Nothing. It's not backed by the petrol. It's not backed by the gas, the petrol. It's not backed by gold. They remove it. Nixon in the 1900s, he removed it. Nixon, he said, no, we don't want to deal with that. He said, we don't want to remove it. That's why they're waging war against this country, who backing up the currency with gold, with commodities, right? They're backing. That's why they killed Gaddafi. The reason why they killed Gaddafi, because Gaddafi told American and European Union, he said, listen, man, I'm not going to sell you my oil in dollar anymore. No, you bring me gold. You want to buy my oil? You bring me gold. That's why they killed Gaddafi. They didn't kill Gaddafi because he was a dictator. They make you believe that he's a dictator. Meanwhile, the real dictator are the American. Because they got a military mind. They're waging war on everybody. Dropping bombs over here. If you don't give them the behind for them to rape you, what do? They'll drop the bomb on you. They'll label you as a terrorist. That's how they operate. That's why, brother, you got to set your house in order. Let's bring out 3 precepts and we're going to close it out. Right? Let's bring out 3 precepts. Right? I'm going to bring out 3 precepts, right? I'm going to go in the book of what? Actually, let's go in the book of Revelation, right? Let's go in Revelation chapter 1, and I'm going to jump to verses 3 first. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 1 and verses 3. Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. The time is at hand, brother. That's right. The title of this video is what? Get your house in order. Right? Set your house in order. Repent and keep the commandment of the Most High. Huh? Be ready at all times. Right now, most people don't want to listen to the word of God. They don't want to listen to the Bible. If I was here blasting the speaker, playing music, right? Some dirty, nasty music, right? That would all line up, right? If I was here playing some dirty music, dirty Hollywood music, nasty music, that I used to worship, set up to push for violent bloodshed all the time, guess what? They all will line up right here, man. They will line up right here just to listen. And they'll be shaking their behind, they'll be doing all type of evil madness, they'll be freaking out. But because we're doing the work of the Most High, they see me, they know I'm teaching the word of the Most High. Right here. You can't miss me. You can't see, you don't see. Everybody see me, right? I'm right here in the corner. But guess what? They don't care, because that's the time. That's the end time. The end time, only few people will listen to the word. So brother and sister, Take this serious, man. The time we right now, our salvation is near, man. You got to set your house in order. Set your life in order, brother and sister. Repent and be born again. Right? Jump right here. Revelation 21, 7 through 8. Here's the book of Revelation, chapter 21, verses 7 through 8. You read, it says, he that overcometh, man or woman. So if you set your house in order, you set your house in order. You purge out the sin. You purge the sin. You get rid of the leaven. And you fear the Lord. You be born again, brother and sister. You be born again. And you want your brother, you want your sister. Right? Right? It's really. He said, he that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son. There we go. We got to overcome the world. We got to overcome our weakness. We got to overcome our sin. We got to overcome the world because Christ already overcame the world when he died. Christ overcame the world that day when he was hanged on the tree. And Philippians 4:13 said, I can do all things in Christ. Amashiach will strengthen me. We can do all things in Amashiach. If you have faith, you believe in the Most High, you keep the commandment, whatsoever you ask of the Most High through Amashiach, he shall give it unto you, man. All right? Jump to verses 8. By the fearful, you full of fear. You're full of fear. Right? The mainstream media, the politicians, they're using what? Fear campaign, smearing campaign, all type of evil, just to put fear into your mind where you don't want to keep the command. You want to focus on the Most High. Huh? By the fearful, right? You're full of fear and unbelieving. You don't believe in the keeping of the commandment. You don't believe in the Most High. You don't believe in a Mashiach. You say believing in Muhammad, and you're talking about Allah. He said, let's read it. He said, and the abominable, you still eating pork, you committing all type of evil, you eating snake, you want to eat the monkey, you want to eat donkey meat. That's what the Most High is talking about. You want to eat donkey meat? You want to do all type of, like I'll say, abominable things, right? Things that we never seen before. All of a sudden you want to eat, let me see what? You want to eat squirrel. All of a sudden where you're looking for, what is one of these things that the Northern Kingdom was telling me that he ate? Iguana. That's abominable, man. You got to go by what? The dietary law. These are written what in the first 5 books of the Bible. Wickedness. Ooh. He said, and so he said, by the fearful and unbelieving, and the abominable, and murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. So, brother and sister, unless you set your house in order, you repent, you be born again, you have faith in the Most High through YAHAWASHI, you keep a commandment, you love your brother, you love your sister, you're letting them know that's of the Most High, you're going to get destroyed, and you're going to lose again on the second death. Let's jump to chapter 22. This is the book of what? Revelation chapter 22. And verse 7. Behold, I come quickly. Blessed is he that keep the saying of the prophecy of this book. Which book? The Bible. Right? Blessed. Blessed is he, man or woman, that keepeth the saying of the prophecy of this book. Hallelujah. That's all you got to do. You got to set your house in order. Get your house in order, brother and sister. The whole nation got to be in order. Right? Jump right here, verses 11. It reads, he that is unjust, let him be unjust still. Right? That's how Mashiach speaking, not me. And he which is filthy, let him be filthy still. And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man or every woman according as his work shall be. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Blessed are they that do his commandment. So the Christian church told you the Lord done away with it, and they're dooming you, buddy. They're dooming you. You better run away, buddy. He said, blessed are they that do his commandment, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gate into the city. For without are dogs. Who are those dogs? The unbeliever, the sorcerer, the whoremonger, the idolater, right? You gotta keep in mind, huh? The Most High being real, huh? The reason why you don't see is because you live in the midst of sin. You don't believe, huh? You've been seduced and deceived all your life. Right? It's really said, for without are dogs and sorcerers and whoremongers and murderers and idolaters and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie. Huh? He said, I, YAHAWASHI, have sent my angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David and the bright and morning star. Right? So, brother and sister, right? You already know. Please, please get your house in order. Right? And we're speaking in general. We're speaking to all the 12 tribes of Israel. We are just speaking for just literally your house. Well, you got to set your house in order. But we're talking as the whole nation, right? The whole nation. So-called blacks, Latino, and Native Indian, right? And before I close out, brother and sister, I want to share this with you. If you don't mind, please. This is a book I published, right? Early June, if I'm not wrong, early June, I published this book, please. It's a thesis. This book is written based on what? Fact, history, right? And a precept, it got precept in it. It got so many precepts, all right? Precept upon precept, right? To edify our people, the so-called blacks, Latino, and Native Indian scholar try to fuck on this earth. Please help us, support the work. Please support the work. This book, you can purchase it on Amazon.com or Barnes & Noble. Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble. Please support the work. Share it with your loved one. It's a decent book, right? It got pictures in it, so many things. Brother, you won't regret it. It's a decent book. But just so we're trying to push for the translation. We were trying to get it translated in what I'm trying to get it published in French and in Spanish. But I don't have the means right now. So, brother, if you can support the work, please support it. If you can post it on your social media, let your family member know, let our people know, the so-called blacks, Latino, and Native Indian. As you can see, my name is right there. The title is what? A holy message to the 12 tribes of Israel scattered everywhere. All right, so you know, right? So with that, we won't hold it too long. We give our praise, glory, honor, power unto the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodesh, and we say, Kwame Shala, Kwame Shala, Kwame Shala, Kwame Shala, Shalom family.